Uh, Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Concepts of Telecom. Take it easy. Today I'm going to explain the X2 handover explanation in LTE. What are the steps of X2 handover? One of my friend asked me to explain this, so let's see how it works and what are the steps in X2 handover. Okay, so if you'll see in LTE, right, handover is of two types: X2 based and S1 based. So you must be knowing the broad difference between that. The X2 based handovers are when the two eNode Bs are connected with each other via X2 link, and S1 handover is when the eNode B is connected to EPC core and the handover takes place on S1 AP link. I mean, here is also it is connected to EPC, but here handover takes place via this and here via this. So X2 handover, we can also say it takes place in case of intra MME handover. Intra MME means whenever there is no change of MME from one BTS to another BTS, we can say X2 handover takes place. And broadly, S1 handover takes place when there is no X2 link available. X2 link is not there, or it is inter MME handover. In that case, S1 handover takes place. Okay, so let's see how it happens. So we can say that broadly, X2 handover we can divide in three phases. Like the first one is handover preparation. Second one is handover execution, and the third one is handover completion. Though the steps are very complicated, if I will start explaining it in a step by step or kind of a sequence manner, then the steps would be very complicated. So I will try to explain that in a pictorial view so that it would be easy for you to understand. So first of all, we'll see handover preparation. Okay, so what happens that we'll see here, suppose this is a BTS, right? This is a S eNode B. Okay, this is another BTS, it is target eNode B. Fine, this is UE. So UE is connected with this and it is connected with EPC, you can say EPC network. Okay, so uplink and downlink is happening on this path, right? What happens that when the UE comes in a coverage area of this target eNode B, right, then it gives a signal. How it all starts. So the first step is that UE sends a signal, right? I will take this green, it's better. UE sends a signal to source eNode B that I have a better coverage of this eNode B. Okay, after that, this eNode B sends handover request to target eNode B. So one thing here to note down is that the handover is always initiated by source eNode B, right? So when it sends a handover request to this target eNode B, right, this target eNode B establishes a S1 bearer with the EPC, or we can say S gateway, right? S gateway or EPC, it establishes an S1 bearer, and that S1 bearer is only for uplink. Just note down, this is only for uplink path, not for downlink, right? It establishes an S1 bearer with the details provided by this source inode B, that what is the SEID it is using, right? It establishes an S1 bearer with uplink. So this is the first step. We can say first step is UE sends measurement reports to source inode B, we can say. The second step is that source inode B sends handover request to target inode B. Okay. The third step is, we can say, target inode B establishes S1 bearer with EPC or S gateway, right? Okay. Now after that, what happens? That after this step, it sends acknowledgement, handover acknowledgement command. After establishing this bearer, it sends handover acknowledgement command, and after that, when it sends the handover acknowledgement command, the X2 link happens between this target inode B and X2 link is established, right? So we can say the fourth step is X2 link is established between source inode B and target inode B. Okay, so step by step if we will see, and what happens, then first of all, this is the first step, it sends UE measurement. This is the second step, it sends handover request. This is the third step, it's S1 bearer uplink is established, and fourth step is this one, handover acknowledgement is sent back, and fifth step is X2 link is established. So this phase comes under handover preparation, right? So this is handover preparation. This complete phase is handover preparation. These 4 steps happens in handover preparation. Now we will see handover execution. We'll see in the next page handover execution. We will see here, no problem. So there is a source, can say inode B, and this is target inode B. This is UE, we can say, right? So till now what is happening, this link is established here, right? This link is established here, and one S1 bearer uplink, S1 bearer uplink is established here, and one X2 has been established, right? This is up to this step, handover preparation. Now handover execution. Okay, so this scenario we have till handover preparation. Now the handover preparation will start. Now what will happen? Now this is the fifth step, that this source inode B will send a RRC connection reconfiguration. This is fifth step. Source inode B sends RRC connection reconfiguration message, or we can say handover. In that RRC connection handover command, okay, handover command is sent. So after that this it sends to UE, and then UE the next step is, we can say the UE gets detached. After this step, right, the UE gets detached from the source inode B. It gets detached from the source inode B. This link is detached. Okay. Now the third step is that meanwhile all the security key matching happens between I'm not explaining in very detail. that all message flow happens on a micro level. I'm just explaining on the broad level, like how does it happen and what all things take place. So after this link is detached. The UE gets detached with the source inode B after that message. After that, this source inode B, okay, this source inode B sends SN, sequence number status transfer. Right, what is sequence number status transfer? That it sends the via this X2 link, it sends this sequence number status transfer, whatever the pending data for downlink in this enode B, right? So that it sends to this target enode B, so that this target enode B starts buffering that amount, data, downlink data, okay, because this link has been detached. So with this X2 link, it sends the downlink data, whatever the pending downlink data is here in source enode B, it sends to target enode B, right, via X2 link, right? Sixth step is this. Then after that, this UE syncs with the new target enode B, and after that this uplink resources grant happens, and we can say that this UE is now gets attached to this new target enode B, and after that it sends the command RRC. Seventh step, we can say UE gets attached to target enode B, and in eighth step we can say that RRC, this is eighth step, RRC connection reconfiguration complete, right? This message flows from, and handover confirm message flows from UE to target enode B, right? This is the AC step. So in this, what was the fifth step? Fifth step was that it sends RRC connection reconfiguration to this. Sixth step was it sends the source enode B sends the buffer data to target enode B. The seventh step was this sync that it gets attached to the target enode B. And eighth step is if this is the response of this message, that RRC connection reconfiguration handover complete. So this is up to we can say this is the handover execution step. This part 2 is handover execution. So after the completion of this handover execution, what do we have? We have that the uplink data from this UE, the uplink data is flowing from here to here, because we have uplink. This is uplink data, and downlink data is flowing from here to this X2 link, and then from this target enode B to this UE, right? This is downlink data, right? So till the completion of this handover execution, the uplink data is flowing from here to here via this path, and downlink data is flowing from here to the source enode B, then X2 link, and then from target enode B to UE, right? This is the flow of uplink and downlink data up till the completion of this handover execution, right? Now the third step. So if we will see the handover completion step, the third step is handover completion. I'll write it down here. So in handover completion, so what we have now, this is the source enode B, this is the target enode B, and we have one X2 link established. We have EPC both have S1B error, target also, source also, but this is for uplink and this is UE, and it is connected with this. This is the right now this is the connection we have, right? Because till the completion of handover execution, and when we reach the start of handover completion, we have this. The downlink data is flowing through this path, right? And the uplink data is flowing through this path, right? Fine. Now, but we have to hand over to this target BTS completely. So this X2 has also be finished in the last in the last of handover execution. Now, what will happen? That after this, 1 minute. Path switch request, right? Path switch request goes from target eNode B to EPC. And this is the, we can say, which step was there? 1 minute. 9th step, we can say. Path switch request, because path switch request has to go from this target eNode B to EPC, because this uplink only S1 bearer has to be uplink plus downlink. So path switch request from target eNode B to EPC or MME, whatever MME we can say. After the path switch request goes, right, then it goes from target eNode B to MME, then MME to S gateway, and when it reaches S gateway, the thing happens that this bearer, which is only uplink, it gets converted to downlink also. So the uplink S1 uplink bearer, it gets converted to downlink bearer, right? A downlink bearer is established, right? After that, the modification request goes, right? Path switch request, then bearer modification request goes from S gateway to P gateway, and then P gateway bearer modification response comes, because S gateway, P gateway and MME all are in this part. So I am consolidating all those messages as a EPC messages only. After that, when modify bearer response comes from S gateway to MME, right? With that, what happens that this path, this S1 is also there, right, working. So whenever the response comes from EPC, that modify bearer request from S gateway to MME, what happens? There comes an end marker packet, and that end marker packet notify, or we can say denotes that this is the last packet via this path. An end marker packet comes via this path, and it comes via this path to X2 and target eNode B, right? And when it reaches the target eNode B, after that end marker packet, this link gets vanished, or we can say this link breaks. This link doesn't work anymore, and after that end marker packet, this link gets converted into uplink and downlink, right? After that end marker package, when it reaches here, this link breaks down and this link converted into uplink plus downlink. So after that, what happens? That the complete data, whether it is uplink or downlink, it starts flowing via this path only. It is DL plus uplink, right? 11th step, we can say that end marker packet goes from you can say S gateway to this S gateway to source eNode B, right? And from source eNode B to target eNode B via X2 link. And after this end marker packet, this is the last packet via this path. Okay, after that, this path is finished, it breaks down, and this complete path gets set up uplink and downlink. It means that, and after that, when after that end marker packet, this X2 link also breaks means the purpose of the X2 link has been completed, because after end marker package no more packets would be flowing via this path. So this path also gets completed, or we can say gets break, because after that no more packets would be flowing via this. So in this way the handover is completed. It gets break. Now the complete after this, the complete UE EPC, all the downlink and uplink packets would be flowing via this path. Okay, so this is the 3-step procedure, we can say, that X2 handover takes place. So after this, if there is any doubt or confusion regarding any step, because I think this is one of the, I find this way the way easiest way to explain. Otherwise, if I would have gone through those what you can say sequence numbers, then you won't be able to relate with those steps, that how is actually happening. So here in this way I have tried to explain. So even after that, if there is any confusion, please you can ask me, no problem. Thank you very much, guys.